I'm doing a quick late night video because clearly this needed to be covered as soon as possible before a bunch of it starts getting deleted, which some of it already is. Um, this guy posted, I first saw this actually because of Vicky retweeting it, quote tweeting it, in fact. But here's a guy, Elvis Gonzalez, saying, "My fan art for the ISOM contest," because there's an ISOM 2 fan art contest. And here he shows it, and it's, decent looking on the surface, of course, but it's also pretty obviously AI. If you just look at the looking at the hands is always the tell for AI, and if you just look at the hands, there's like one, two, three, four, five, six fingers. Basically, it's almost like he has two thumbs, and one of his index fingers looks like it's being tucked underneath an index finger, essentially. Um, and it has that overall look. But I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. But at the same time, the fact that this guy absolutely thought he would get away with presenting a an AI piece for a fan art contest, but without getting called out. And right off the bat, it's important to point out that Comicsgate would have tried to fly with this. Comicsgate and Iron Age and all that shit would have tried. He even put the hashtag indie comics. This is just nothing but a detriment to indie comics. I don't even hate AI art necessarily, as like say people using it for whatever purpose aside from trying to pretend that it's their own real art. But Comicsgate knew they had to call this out or else they would be caught. So they immediately had to get out in front of this to avoid, giving the antis a gigantic easy win. So this is archived, and it's funny because this was posted July 13th, and it was not archived until just tonight on July 16th, or I believe July 15th at night. And now it's the next day, just in the morning. But the archive link is basically on the screen there, so if you want to see the tweet and a bunch of replies, which a lot of replies are just straight up calling him out, but the majority of the immediate replies are him trying to explain. Like, first reply right here, him saying, "Here's my original artwork that I drew on Clip Studio." The next reply is him again saying, "I noticed there's some people already made up their mind about me. Here's a video of the original file. Here's this. Like I mentioned, I did use an AI upscaler to enlarge the artwork. I also use it on my ArtStation artwork." So he's half-handedly, half-heartedly, full-handedly, perhaps, trying to admit to some AI use, but not being able to go fully with it. And I thought this was interesting, is that this guy, just out of nowhere, here's Peaceful Asshole saying, "Tim Lin thoughts on people being attacked and bullied," tagging Ethan Van Sciver suddenly, trying to drag in some drama at the exact same time that this guy's AI art for ISOM was, it's like, aren't there more important things? But he was replying to himself from a tweet from last year where he posted something of Tim and Mark, I think Tim specifically, Tim Lin, as he says, which is Tim Lim, but saying that it's Tim, supporting us, therefore supporting doxing, which we've never doxed anyone. Vicky has never doxed anyone. But they're trying to very mentally illy try to draw some kind of connection between us being responsible for doxing, even though we never have been, and not even the other people in Comicsgate think that, or think they could get away with trying to accuse us of that. But naturally, Ethan has always had mentally ill people trying to stick up for him and support him. But it's funny that suddenly, after this AI thing, like same day, suddenly this guy is trying to immediately stir up this shit. As if a very immediate emergency distraction from the AI things. It goes to show this is how Comicsgate has always operated: is they get caught on something, so they fabricate something immediately to distract from it. It's been thousands of times in Comicsgate. But here's Vicky's reply. Her quote tweet of the art, and she says, "When you gave the AI the prompts, did you ask it to give Isom Dusty Rhodes's forehead?" And it's funny because you almost think that usually people in Comicsgate, there are a lot of people in Comicsgate who reply to her all, and especially Isom fans who reply to her all pissed off and being like, "You're fucking jealous, you fucking piece of shit." But suddenly they're all silent and they don't understand. This is how it pretty much always is. It's just at least asking question. As Randy Marsh said, we need to be brave enough to ask questions. But anyways, here's one of the other replies just saying AI AF. And it zooms in on the face in general, and especially the forehead that seems to have random wrinkles in random directions and almost like random shadows. And very AI. AI does mouths very weird, where it doesn't really understand how to draw teeth properly. Out of all the things AI can't really do, teeth is definitely one of the ones. Here's another reply saying you could at least fix the AI hands, dude. And then here's another Cope reply from the guy saying, "Here's a video of the original file before using the upscaler," which is just him looking at the thing in, he has the file, he has the picture opened in Clip Studio Paint, and he's just looking at it. It's just a video of him looking at it. Which gets worse when we go further. But here's him from a few days ago, the 12th, for Portfolio Day, and it's other pictures that are very clearly AI. Yeah, here's another, like the bizarre hands right off the bat. You can say, the funny thing is, Ethan Van Sciver's normal real drawings are not really any better than this, but that's because he's just not really a good artist. But the specific way that hands are drawn wrong, like another kind of 6 fingers, or at least implied 6 fingers. He only has 4 fingers in the back there. And then here's Punisher that's pretty clearly, you can use AI to use an original picture as a basis that it will then sort of redraw. The weird thing is this Punisher one seems to have his signature on it, and then this Mario one doesn't. And the Mario one, the fact that it's such clashing styles, it's this is clearly like a photo. In fact, it's pretty clearly a photo. With just one of those filters on it, and maybe a few pieces of example. And the fact that he's trying to get away with this as being an actual piece of art. This is it's important to point out, yeah, there are people who try to get away with fake art and that kind of stuff. This is very typical of Comicsgate, though. It's not an exception. This is not some rare exception to Comicsgate. This is pretty common. Here's another picture where he just posts what he calls the line art. He says, "Here's my original artwork that I drew on Clip Studio." We'll be getting into that. In fact, here he says Punisher whip, and then it's the work in progress, in other words. So here is a GIF. It's an animated GIF, and let's watch it right now. Notice he's not drawing anything. Instead of a GIF of him showing him doing the lines or anything, it's literally about 4 frames just looping of his pen hovering over the piece, possibly without even it being over a tablet. It could be just over his monitor, and he's just recording that, because it's clearly just the same 1 or 2 seconds looping. It's only 8 frames total, and he says this is his example. But we'll get into this even more. Here is Pixel Trader saying, "Tutorial for anyone else wanting to remove the colors and have line art like you did." Here's the line art of his Isom thing. And here is this Pixel Trader guy who, even other people who linked to this and said, I don't really like Pixel Trader, but here's something that even I think I know how to do in Clip Studio Paint, which I have. I actually did buy Clip Studio Paint because it goes on sale so often and for cheap. But here is, he applies basically a filter that just strips the coloring out and leaves the line art. It's in fact, I think it's something that I know Clip Studio Paint has slight AI features that tell you up front that they're AI and that kind of shit. And they can sort of do a AI test coloring where it colors in black and white art, but it can also just completely remove what looks like the coloring. It just turns it into what looks like line art. The thing is, that's all you have to do is just take the original picture that an AI comes up with and just do this. Is that you go into, what did he do? He went into, let's see if I can look at it. Here, if I full screen, it says remove tones technology preview, and which technology mean AI. And so it's just in one of the drop down menus for Clip Studio Paint. You click that, remove tones from layer. And it says the feature processes the image on Clip Studio server via an internet connection. Read the following before using this feature. The image will be uploaded to Clip Studio server and processed. Personal information such as the product serial number, account information will not be uploaded to the server. The uploaded, I don't even know if that's true, but the uploaded data and generated data will be deleted from the server once the process is complete. And then do not show this dialog again. He clicks on it, it processes, it strips out the thing, and then he uses a few, here's an artistic filter, color and lines, and he moves the sliders around to make it look more like some of the remaining lines and that kind of thing. Going to show that he can, and most likely did, just take the original piece by an AI, run it through this filter, which is exactly what the sort of background clouds and stuff look like. It looks like they've been defilterized. So again, even the original line art is fake. And there's a bunch of replies to that video of people being like, holy shit. Now, here also, just to show that Comicsgate doesn't just do this kind of behavior, but supports it. Knee-jerk reaction will immediately take the side of a dishonest person. Every time there's a dishonest person in Comicsgate, somebody in Comicsgate will step right in immediately to take the side. Always of a dishonest person specifically, which is constantly. So it goes to show, if they're willing, like here, right here is an example. Somebody posted this to our Discord, and the tweet has since been deleted. So this is all I could find was the link and the embedded tweet. And it's Matt Krotz, who is a complete fucking gunt crease licker of Ethan Van Sciver's, completely brainwashed, soulless, very low IQ guy. But his tweet replies to the guy saying, I mean, your drawing settles it. Human made. You got a great colors to figure out how to accent your line work. This is my favorite fan art so far. Just completely, even if he's not buying, which it seems pretty obvious he is buying it. But even if he wasn't, he's pushing the lie willingly or unwillingly. Either way. And here then is his tweet was deleted. Somebody else replies to him saying, please be joking, man. And then Matt Krotz replies again saying, actually, someone came into my DMs and proved it's AI, my bad. Most likely, Ethan or somebody else in Comicsgate said, shut the fuck up, you're making us look stupid and dishonest. Which they still are about many other things. It's just that there's no escape. Everyone is joining in on making fun of this guy. This is a bad look for Eric July, who most likely has no involvement in this guy. Because Eric July wouldn't tell anyone, make obvious AI art and submit it to me. Eric July would want that. He just wouldn't want to be caught. As soon as it's about being caught, it's about fucking divorcing himself. So, and here's, of course, somebody replied with this. You fucking mark! Which is very appropriate, of course. Here's another pick from Pixel Trader, picking apart some of his other stuff, apparently. Yeah, picking apart his portfolio. His portfolio is littered with pieces that are AI and then obviously smudge tool to death to try and correct and shape them. Seriously, look at this. The chest armor has no symmetry or organization, such, and so on. Here is Kaiser Crimson quote tweeting, saying, "Whenever I draw real art, I also blankly hold my stylus over conveniently finished line work that I totally drew for real. No AI slop here. Scout's honor." And then here's somebody else just replying to his piece, saying the original Isom fan art, saying, "So the artist that drew this still has this in his portfolio, and this looks pretty clearly like a just some kind of photo or a series of photos put together that has some kind of one of those lazy Photoshop art filters over it. Maybe even run through AI, but it doesn't even look good enough for that. Possibly even just stolen art. Who even knows? It looks like a photograph run through the art filter or the pencil drawing filter, with probably some automatic coloring too. Here's somebody else replying to the portfolio day, showing this, in fact, very interestingly enough, looks like a stock photo of the Mario and Luigi, a couple of Figma, whatever the fucks. And just clearly the exact same thing, just with a filter, an art-looking filter. I know there are AI sites that will take a picture and then just run it through AI to make it look like it was drawn. And here's the guy, the artist, the fake artist in question, replying to that, saying, "References. I do references as previously stated." This isn't a reference, though, if you've just straight up run a picture, a photograph, through AI. Here's Luster Dog replying to the guy saying, the original Isom fan art, saying, "What would Mrs. Newman say about you lying? If you think anyone believes you, you on one. Take this AI shit and catch the street." And here's Apathetic Crow saying, "She would not be happy based on what I've read of Isom, which is none of it." And then Luster Dog replies with Mike Paprika, really Mike Partika, defines the Isom street lingo to you, perhaps. And here's this clip. I'll play this.
Because we got a new shirt called Catch Street, and kudos to Eric July for expanding my vocabulary between catch the street and you on one, or you're on one. Those were two things I actually had to look up on Urban Dictionary because I had no idea what those meant. But I like that. I like having my vocabulary expanded. So catch the street, which means, there's going to be a fight. And you're on one, which means you're crazy.
Yeah, he's really expanding. Here's Crow, Apathetic Crow, saying, "I like having my vocabulary expanded. Thank you." Yeah, again, just this goof. Like, how old is this Mike Partika guy, by the way? He looks like he's 60 or something. How uncool, how much less cool can somebody even be? Here is, and again, fucking just showing that they had to get out in front of it. In fact, one thing really looking at, look at the eyes. He's cross-eyed in the fan art, but even whiny man baby, who normally would completely jump on, just no questions asked, immediately take the side of this guy, knows that he can't, because again, it would just give us another easy win, and that's the last thing he wants. He says, I don't mind AI art. I think it looks good. Again, extra fingers, cross-eyed, all that shit. Yeah, it looks good if you have no standards. If all it takes is shiny coloring for you to think that it looks good, you have no taste. You don't understand what good art actually is. And he says, but at least be honest. This is really him talking to himself. We are being forced to be honest. That's what whiny man baby is actually saying here. Here is Mike Wheeler. He tagged me in this, saying the dipshit that submitted a piece for the Rippaverse thing is all holding fast, saying that he drew this shit. And here's a website, AI or not, saying this image is generated by AI. It's which you don't have to be an AI. An AI is judging that this is an AI. You don't have to be an AI to judge that, but still. Anyways, so leaving off though, here's Elvis Gonzalez saying, "I will update the description on my artwork as AI too because I don't want my clients to feel scammed. I used an AI upscaler and it seems to affect the original work." So he's still doubling down, but also sort of limp-wristedly, half-heartedly admitting that AI is involved. So in a way, he can claim that he wasn't lying. And this is basically exactly how it worked out with Shattered Glass. If you haven't seen the movie, you really should, because it goes through this exact kind of behavior where people will delude themselves and others to every end, even after being caught. They're caught, and they just keep doubling down. And then they get caught more, and then they keep doubling down. It doesn't matter how much of it keeps happening. He says, if using any sort of AI is not okay with the rules, then I shouldn't qualify. So, and then somebody replies saying, "You're lying again. You are a dishonest, shameless piece of garbage." See, this is the thing, is that normally people who would be supporting him are resentful of him by proxy making them look dishonest. There's a lot of other weird details. Like there's a bunch of hatching right in the middle of his chest that ends very suddenly on that sort of left side, his right, our left. It's almost like it was erased with an eraser tool, except that it wasn't for these purposes. Yeah, it's bizarre. Either that or he actually did draw some hatching on the middle there for no reason. It's puzzling why he did that. But yeah, again, just it got so bad that even they had to deny it. But still, regardless of them, all the people in whatever Rippaverse, Comicsgate, whatever the fuck, Iron Age, Rust Age, Queer Age, Gay Lube Age, whatever you want to even think of it as, it is still their behavior, regardless of whether they're cornered and have to admit it, or they don't think they're cornered, so they don't admit it. It is just part of the nature, and not just of Comicsgate, of a lot of people who are, who either are selling the snake oil or actually convinced themselves that the snake oil cured their cancer or whatever the fuck. So, again, I wanted to make sure to cover this because a lot of it might be gone. Had to, archive this already. Some of the people, actual Comicsgate people, are already covering their tracks in how they wanted to support this at first and had to back off. Because Comicsgate doesn't have any real principles or integrity. If somebody will submit an AI pic, they will just, not even for a fan art contest, but just posting it in general. Comicsgate will absolutely support it only if they think they can get away with it. And the thing is that even with people questioning, it's not about there even being evidence. It's not about whether the truth is told or not. It's about whether they have enough popular people on the internet to who will turn a blind eye or not question or not talk about the evidence. If enough people will ignore the evidence, they will keep doubling down on denying the evidence, no matter how undeniable it is. And that's far-reaching. That goes beyond merely Comicsgate or even comic books, but it is something that is endemic of fans and fandom. Anyways, I don't know if I'm going to make this a public video or make this a pig subscribe star video. I think I might just post this in public, but there are tons and tons more videos of us doing deep dives and digging into stuff like this on our subscribe star. So if you want to support the people who tell the truth, who aren't just, gunt guarding or whatever guarding for, even for people who are supposedly on our side. We have a long history of being critical of people who are supposed to be on our side or people who are on our side or whatever. And we can prove that too. All of that stuff. If you want to know more, and listen to the people who are honest and actually support true honesty in indie comics and just in the whole scene, the sector, if you will, then become our pay pigs on Subscribestar. For everyone else, should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.